is René Michel. René Michel is an indelible force, audacious, persistent, and committed to living a life fueled by purpose. What a legend. Bring up to the stage, René Michel.
Today, you are you. It's true and true. There's no one alive today more youer than you. That phrase was coined by one of the most profound doctors of our time, Dr. Seuss. So my question to you today is, who are you? You see, identity is something that is so different. Just that word alone means different things to different people. It's based on where we've been, what we've done, what we think people think of us, but mostly what we think of us. Now today, I'm 43 years old. I'm the mother to two amazing teenagers that test my patience daily. And I am the fiancée to an amazing, quite huge Māori man. I call him my caramel statue of deliciousness. And also, possibly, I say, third time is the charm. Because my past is something that I haven't always been proud of. And I have many, many, many moments in my past that I used to be highly ashamed of. So ashamed of that I hid them, I kept them secret, and it ate me up from the inside out. I'm Australian born and bred, so sorry about the twang. I know it can be very, very painful at times. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm a child abuse recovery coach, and I'm now a published author, speaker, and someone very, very passionate about child abuse prevention. But how did I get here? You know, over the course of yesterday and now today, we have heard the most amazing stories from tragedy to triumph, how people have overcome the greatest adversity. And I just want to say thank you so much to everybody who spoke yesterday and who's going to get up here today, because it takes so much courage to be so vulnerable and really put ourselves out there like that. And as Rita said this morning, I really want to acknowledge the men in the room. Every single man in the room. Not just the speakers, but the partners, the cameramen, the photographers, the people serving, the men helping us. Because we cannot do what we need to do as women without our men. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you to all of our men. But how did I get here? Didn't happen overnight. Canteen, but it did happen. It's an old ad. So where did it all begin for me? What was that pivotal point in my life that took me down a road I could never have imagined? So the one true person in my life as a child that represented love and happiness and safety to me was my dad. And at 9 years old, he was torn out of our family by lies, deceit, and betrayal. The world that I knew it was thrown permanently off its axis in the most violent way, and everything I thought I knew about myself and the world was brought into question. My mum became an alcoholic soon after, and it seemed like the only thing she was interested in was bringing men home into her bed and into mine. That cycle of constantly living in fear as a child and having nobody to talk to, I cannot even explain the debilitating fear, anxiety, confusion and torment that does to a child. You just can't understand, why is this happening to me? Why does no one care? Why can't anybody see? So the fact that Mum did not protect me, I never understood that, and to this day I still don't, particularly as a mother myself. But that is her journey. I'm going to talk about mine. So what became the cycle of abuse and the terror and the shame became secrecy also. Growing up in a small country town, there was no one for me to talk to. There was no campaigns like we have today, no Are You OK Day, no Mental Health Awareness Day, and definitely nothing in the school curriculum to help people, and children particularly, know that there was a safe place to go to And the biggest thing of all is that what is happening to you is not your fault. I thought it was my fault, what was happening to me. I thought it was my fault when Mum's boyfriends punched me in the face when she wasn't looking. I thought it was my fault when they held me up against a wall and choked me until I was unconscious. I thought it was my fault that they touched me where they shouldn't. So I thought the best thing to do would be to die. And I can remember my first suicide attempt of drinking shampoo. Why did I drink shampoo? I heard on the radio on the way to school one day that would kill you. And as a 10-year-old, I was like, okay, well, maybe that's what I should do then. Now, I did this after I had attempted to blow my head off with my dad's double-barrel shotgun. I didn't because I couldn't figure out how to both balance the barrel of the shotgun in my mouth and reach the trigger with my 10-year-old arms. Obviously, those things did not work, but the idea of suicide, that fantasy of suicide, never left me. And where I was once a happy young girl, I lost myself. I just wanted to grow up in the country, and like Dave said, my dream was to be a jockey. That didn't work out so well for me either. But I had no idea who I was, why I was created, and why the hell was I even alive. That was what I became. Silent, quiet, disempowered, very fearful of men, and pretty much any authority figures at all in my life. I couldn't any longer trust what people said or what they did. The very people that were supposed to love and protect me abandoned me, neglected me. And my mum was part of the process of those men being in my home in the first place. But our identity is not static. It changes, it grows, it shifts, it develops. And there came a time in my life when I realised that I had something to say about who I was. And I started to find my voice. How did I get from there to here? First step was the birth of my daughter. No, she did not look like that when she was born because that would hurt. That was 3 weeks ago at her high school function. She changed my life forever. She saved me. Because when I gave birth to my beautiful baby girl, I can remember vowing, declaring, promising that she would never have a life like mine. Never, under any circumstances, was she going to experience the abuse, feeling unloved, ugly, alone, unwanted, isolated, disgusting. No, not my child. So what began at her birth was 16 really long years of self-discovery, hard freaking work, but it also included more violent relationships, more suicide attempts, drug and alcohol addiction. It was like 4 steps forward, 10 back. But again, this was 2 weeks ago when we were in Bali. That was her graduation gift. We all went to Bali. That's my son in the background, the tall giant. And now I can proudly say I have changed the entire trajectory of my family lineage and our future by understanding that I could change myself, my identity, and who I became. You see, it wasn't about what I didn't have growing up. It was about what did I want to become. I didn't have to stay stuck because you know what? That feeling of shame is like a noose around your neck. With every bad decision and mistake, it gets tighter and tighter. Shame is a killer. When you realise that you are not at fault for what happens to you as a victim of abuse, that's step 1. So when my clients come to me and they say, René, I've been to every counselling program and I've done this and I've done that and it hasn't worked and I don't know why, and I'm still stuck here, I can't have intimacy with my husband even though I love him and I can't quite connect to my children. First thing I say is, who are you? What's your identity? Let's look at that. And the moment we start unpacking that, it is such a revealing process. because they still have hidden things in their soul that tell them that there's something wrong with them, that there's something that they can't release, that they can't fully, honestly tell somebody. You see, abuse is not logical. Child abuse is definitely not logical. So when we think illogical things, we think we're broken and faulty and there's something wrong with us. So we think, well, I can't tell somebody that. They're not going to understand. When you speak to another survivor, someone who's experienced that, the release and the power that comes from that is truly transformational. So in this year, in August, my autobiography, Battle Scars Are Beautiful From Victim to Victory, was finally published. And I never wanted to write a book. I never wanted to speak. I was told my whole life to sit down, shut up, and nobody cared or wanted to hear what I had to say. Now, I speak all over the world on international podcasts every month. My books reach 4 out of 7 continents. I've coached women in France, Portugal, Spain, Europe, the US, Canada. And in February next year, I've been asked to fly to Tennessee to help law enforcement officers over there design a training package for recruits, better support survivors and their family. Because there is still so much shame, stigma, and unawareness around how to infiltrate, intercede, and support children better. Just the language we use is releasing and healing and powerful. By asking a child to explain what happened to them about an instance they don't even know, will re-traumatize the child every single time. We need to get better at this. And that's now what fuels my fire every day. So what could have destroyed me and almost did, has now become the fuel to my fire. It has now become the one thing that I celebrate. That is why it had to be called Battle Scars Are Beautiful. Because they truly are. They truly are what makes us indelible, unstoppable, strong, a fortress. And it also is what makes us a shining light for others. If you're a beacon of hope to someone who has never had hope, that is life-saving. When I wrote my book, my publisher said, René, what's your goal? Where do you want to see this go? And I said, if it saves one life, my job is done. One life. We've lost 3,487 people this year to suicide. That's just in Australia. Every 2 minutes, Australian police get a call about domestic violence. Every 2 minutes. The stats, we become desensitized, they're numbers. But we're the faces to these numbers. This is happening in our homes. The target audience for the book is huge, because you may not have been abused, but we all know someone who has. And that's the unfortunate part of what we're dealing with today. The police force are backing it, veterans are backing it, because we're being honest. The book is very, very raw, not graphic, but it's raw, because I wanted it to touch a 14-year-old girl's life who's struggling on her own, and also touch an 85-year-old woman's life who's never told anyone about what happened to her. That was the intention, and that's what it's done. So on the inside of the book, I dedicated it to my family, and I wrote, whether in our hearts or on our skin, battle scars are evidence that what tried to destroy us failed. Doesn't matter what we face in life, we can get by. We've heard it from time and time and time again, just in this room alone. So imagine what we can do as a collective force when we stand together and shout it from the mountaintop. And that's what we need to do. We're stronger together. Let's stand together, support each other, and cheer each other on. Thank you.